I am up. Alright, so I'm gonna be doing something different tonight. No game. No game tonight. It's a good old-fashioned building a plastic robot figure of a fat man. It's a Gustav Karl. He has a name. How often do you get to build a Gunpla that has a name? I mean, like a proper name. Not that often. Alright, before we get started here. Music. So, the last few times I have done live streams with live build stuff, music has always been the problem because, well, not too much on Twitch. It's when I go to YouTube, it is the problem. So this time around, I'm gonna use YouTube's own music this time as background ambience. If it plays. Well, that one plays. I don't know why the other one didn't play. Anyway, background music, because that's always better. So, this is actual YouTube music, so it may not be the highest quality music. But it is supposed to be copyright free, and it should not get me claims on the YouTube when it gets there anyway. Ooh. So, here's the box. You know, my webcam, I was kind of thinking now that it probably would have been better if I got... Oh, yes, you like that sound? It would have been better if I had, like, a webcam with a zoom lens on it. This doesn't have a zoom lens on. This is more of a wide-angle view. But... Anyway. I've already opened up and taken a look at this kit. I have not built anything on it, because you can see it's still on the runners and everything. If this was like a master grade or a real grade, I would have just went ahead and prepped the parts ahead of time. But since this is just a high grade kit, I figure I can probably just work on this on stream. And it should be easy enough to do. Now, I have to figure out where to put the boxes. Let's see, let's have... Wait, my wastebasket is not in the right location. Hold on. Let me move it to my other side. It has to be on my right side, not my left side. My left side is where my laptop is. Can't reach around now. Let me just get the parts out of here. Will I be able to do this all in one stream? I don't know. That is a very iffy question. Broom sabers. They're very clear. And show my pulley caps. Leave those within arm's reach where I can find them. And the drink of tonight is sweet tea. Now, this is supposed to go to another music track. I did check before I started. There we go. So we'll just keep going. So I need to... these boxes are huge. I need to arrange my parts. But they're not all piled up right here. Stickers. Stickers! I haven't decided if I'm going to use the black stickers on here or just paint them in with my black Gundam marker. I suppose I'll figure it out when I get there. Let's see, I'm just going to stick the beam sabers up out of the way because I don't need those right away. Alright, so where are we starting? Over here. We're going to start with the chest on this thing. I need the D runner, the E runner, A, C. Yeah, okay, just those. So this is, I know this is the A plate right here. This is A. The other thing I have noticed about this webcam is it likes to do auto brightness adjustments constantly. I don't know how to disable that on the webcam. I looked into the options and I can't find a way to actually turn that feature off. I can disable the white balance, but I can't disable the auto brightness adjustment. So it's gonna do that sort of thing. So just gonna have to deal with that. What A parts do we need? The collar. So let's start snipping here. Snip, 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 snip. This one technically, yeah, this is the first kit I have built this year. I built some kits last year, but I didn't do any live streams of any of those. Well, actually, I did do the F90 on my YouTube page. That was kind of an experiment, just to try out YouTube streaming. And YouTube streaming was more complicated than Twitch, so I'm going back to Twitch for my Gunpla streaming. But the review videos and everything else are going to be on my channel, obviously. Okay, why is it not continuing with the music? Oh, it's not going to play unless the window is up. That's inconvenient. So I have to have the window on my screen while it is playing in order to remain playing. This is where I kind of wish I really had like a multi-monitor setup, because that way I could have stuff on one monitor and have the OBS stream thing on the other monitor. Unfortunately, I'm poor, so I can't really afford to buy a whole lot of toys and gadgets. Where was I? I only flipped out 2 parts already. I'm still talking. Okay, we need the front vents here. So for panel lining, normally I would use my ink, the ink pens I have to do panel lining. I think I'm just gonna stick with the standard panel liner pins instead for this, because I don't want to deal with the alcohol and cleaning up the excess ink and everything, because the fumes are kind of bothersome from you. I wish there was a way I could fix this stupid auto brightness thing. You know, if I had realized that was going to be a problem with this webcam, I probably would have went for something else. But the problem is most webcams don't let you change their settings. I mean, this one has a focus adjustment on it, but focus adjustment, which is why I got it. So you can see stuff up close pretty decently on this thing. But it lacks a zoom, and the brightness adjustment is kind of wonky on it. Tries to overcompensate too much. So you end up too dark or you end up too bright. If I could just set it manually myself, that would be great, because, you know, I know how to make a picture look good if I can just manually control things. Alright, we're just going to focus on the chest. That's everything off of that plate. That's A plate. Where's my D and E? This is E. And this is D. There are 2 E's. Let's focus on D first. So I did see some reviews beforehand of this kit. The 11 and 10. I think most reviewers generally like this kit, except for 2, maybe 3 problem areas on this kit. One of which is the shoulder joints are very loose on this. I will take a look at that as I'm building. And let me set those aside. Those are pairs, they go together. And the other is the waist ball joint, which tends to be loose and falls apart. Again, I will take a look at that and see if there's anything I can do about that. D9. D9. Yeah, to see the problem is that they have the manual right here, and that just makes the brightness go wonky. So unless I have like my hand here, it's like, then it's like brightness. But it tries to adjust to this here. So what I might have to do is just take this out. Take that out, maybe, and move it aside. Maybe that'll be better. I guess that looks better. Alright, anyway. What else is there? D8. Okay, that is the waist ball joint. This little piece right here. And this thing? Yes, 14. Okay. That's all I need for that. And E-plate. A little bit of E-plate. Need 3. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah. Need the other one. Alright, that's it for that. Sometimes I wish I had a bigger desk. It's like I don't know where to put all these screw runners while I'm working on them. I need this one. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it. Yeah. This one. Number 10 and 11. Alright, so let's talk about the question here. The question about this mobile suit. What is it named after? Do you know? There's another A part I need. Come back. I need this thing. Thing is, I studied these runners now for like the past few days, so I kind of already kind of know where the parts are on them. For the most part, I know where they are. Oh, I needed all those little thruster bells. I need the thruster bells. Give me. I'll come back. 19, 17, 18. So, have you discovered your answer yet? Is that your final answer? So, if you said it's named after a person, you're wrong. It's actually named after a anti-tank weapon or cannon called a Carl Gustav. Although I would assume there actually is a person with the name Carl Gustav. There's actually several people with that name, I discovered. I'm assuming the gun was actually named after a person called Carl Gustav, and the mobile suit later on became named after that same cannon, so they just kind of flipped the words around, calling it Gustav Karl instead. So now you know. I need a D1. That's this right here. And got that. I need whatever those parts are. Oh, that's the back of the torso. I didn't get those parts. That's the backpack. I recently saw, what is his name? Hold on. I will remember his name. I just gotta pull my thing back up again. Where is it? Kakarot 197. He did a video about the model, trying to explain the model numbers on mobile suits. And he did, and I was wondering if he was going to cover the Gustav Karl, and he did. And like I expected, he doesn't really know what the FD means in the model number. He just kind of made his best guess. Fujita design, I believe is what he said. Because I believe a Mr. Fujita wasn't the original designer of this machine. The original design was done by a different mecha designer. I forgot his name. The same dude who did the design for the Penelope and the Zai Gundam. He also did the Zero Rymar. He was most well known for that. I don't remember his name. I should know his name, but I don't remember anyway. Anyway, I guess somebody called Fujita sort of fixed up the design, and for whatever reason made it fatter than the original design, which I've always found that kind of odd. Because the original design line art for the Gustav Karl is actually much more of a slimmer mobile suit. But for whatever reason, the unicorn version is kind of bulky. I always thought that was kind of strange. I don't know why they did it that way. Let me make sure that stays up there so I can keep playing my music. Yeah. Alright, is that everything I need for the chest? I believe so. Are there any polycaps? No, there are no polycaps. Okay. So, this is what we got. Try and make that as small as I can so I can see my own screen here. Alright, let's get the little nubs off. Actually, you know what? This thing is like too big. I can't use this box, it's too big. I need a narrow box. Hold on. Narrow box. The box has to be narrow because it has to fit on my lap. The actual box for the Gustav Karl is actually a little too thick to fit on my lap. And it's already getting hot in here already. Well, part of the reason is that I got this bright light up here, so look that way. Bright lights tend to get hot. So yes, I do need my air conditioner on. It is getting warm and toasty. Alright, I'm gonna do some snip, snip, snips here. Let's see. Yeah, I can adjust so I can see what I'm doing here. Otherwise, I'm leaning over a lot. These are still my old Gundam Planet nippers, which I've had for years now. I do need to replace these at some point. I don't know if you can see there. There is like a little chip right there at the base of the blade. It doesn't get in the way because it's at the base, but as old as this thing is, I probably should replace it. Unfortunately, supplies of not only new Gunpla kits but the supplies as well are kind of in short supply these days. I was looking at Gundam Planet's website and I couldn't find these nippers on their site anymore. Maybe they are just been perpetually out of stock of them. I also checked out, USA Gundam Store has bear nippers on, and I guess it comes down to it, I might get those. I don't know if I would assume they're comparable to these. The other option is to look for God Hands, which maybe I could get if I can find any. I remember, like, before all this pandemic business began, it actually was pretty easy to find God Hands. Even they were like $50 or so. You could find them on Amazon, even. Now I can't really find them. So I don't know what happened. They just kind of evaporated. I've seen a couple floating around on a few other sites, but they're like $100. So I'm like, why are they like, no. I'm not paying $100 for nippers. Jesus. Oops. And I have been checking out the Gunpla websites lately too. Well, the shops. Inventory is lacking. So I was shopping around for, you know, potential kits I might want to build this year for reviews and whatnot. And selection is very sparse. Like, USA Gundam Store's selection is just kind of abysmal right now. They barely have anything. Gundam Planet's a little bit better. They have some stock. but again, it's not a whole lot. And I believe I did look at new type HQ. They seem to have more than the other two places. But I usually don't shop at new type HQ because they're like on the other side of the country from me. So it would be like extended shipping times or extra shipping from them to get to me. So usually if I buy from Gunpla shop online, I usually would go with a USA Gundam Store or Gundam Planet, one of those two. Because they're relatively close to where I live, so shipping doesn't take too long from them. I know I like having short shipping times. I like efficient short shipping. I'm just one of those people. But I do have another kit coming after this one, which will probably work on next month, I would imagine. I did get a real grade Zeong is coming. Probably should be getting the delivery for that this weekend, maybe, if all goes well. But for this month, I'm just gonna build this guy here, which I did not order from any place. I actually went to my hobby store in person and got this there just to kind of see what they had, because I was in the mood to shop for Gunpla. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna stop by Hobbytown and see what they have. Now my Hobbytown, I actually haven't been in there in over a year. Probably not since before the pandemic began. Usually I would go there to get paint. But I kind of went there. But I remember before, they had like a big selection of Gunpla. They had like a whole back wall full of Gunpla kits. So I went there just to kind of see what they had, because it's been a while. And guess how many Gunpla kits they had? Not a whole lot. Not much to choose from. Unless you want a BB Senshi or an SD kit. They have a bunch of those. But high grade kits? Master grades? Perfect grades? Not really. So when I went there, my choice was, well, high grade Gustav Karl, which was the only high grade UC kit they had, or Master Grade Extreme Unicorn Gundam, which I wasn't gonna get, or Excessive Deep Striker Gundam, the Master Grade, which again I wasn't gonna get. So out of those three choices, I kind of went with this one for $28. A rather above average sized high grade kit. I thought was a good buy, so I went ahead and got this. But yeah, that just kind of speaks to how scarce Gunpla has become now. Like, if you want to shop for a specific kit, you may have a hard time finding what you want. Unless you want like the latest kit that's just come out. I still see plenty of places have the Wing Gundam Zero Custom Verka, if you want that. Seems like plenty of places still have that available. For a reasonable price right now, if you're interested. But if you're looking for like anything else, it's kind of a crapshoot right now. You might find what you want, or you might not. Also, I did notice between USA Gundam Store and Gundam Planet, they have like the old Master Grade GP01 FB. Do you know how ancient that kit is? It's like, why? out of everything that's kind of out of stock these days, why do they have that? I'm assuming Bandai must have did a reprinting of some old GP kits. I don't know why they did that. Because, you know, to be honest, this is probably going to be a little bit of a controversial opinion, but I honestly think Bandai needs to retire some of these old, really old kits, like the really old first generation Master Grade kits that are kind of crap by today's standards now. Like, especially if they've been replaced by a newer, better version of the kit. Like, why does Bandai need to devote production time to printing these things out, when they could use that production time on other kits that people might actually want? You know, some newer kits. Like, how many people really want to have the Master Grade 1.0 Gundam when there's so many better options to go with now? But to be fair, you know, there is no 1/100th scale replacement for the GP01 right now, so I guess until a proper 2.0 comes out, I guess you'll just have to make do with that kit, and that's your only choice, which is unfortunate because the kit is kind of shit. I'm not really mincing words here. It's kind of a crap kit, you know. Because of things like that, it's like, I can't help but wonder if Bandai could free up their production machines to like make more kits that people might actually want to buy, or like, you know, like to put out on the regular, like some of these P Bandai kits, like take them off the limited P Bandai and put them into regular rotation. Like, take some of these really old kits that probably very few people actually buy, and make those like P Bandai, for instance. Make those order-only kits. Like, especially like the really old kits from the 80s. They still have those in production. They still have those things in regular production. And I don't know why they do that. I mean, yes, I guess it's nostalgic for like really old builders, but nobody from the current generation is going to be going out of their way to buy those. So it's like, why devote the production, your limited production schedule, which I assume it is limited, to these really old kits, and still keep them on like a regular rotation? It's like, why do that? I don't understand. And it's not unprecedented either for Bandai to just stop producing certain kits. They've done so in the past. And the original high-grade line, which had, I believe, had the Gundam, Zeta, and ZZ, and the Mark II, that was like in the mid-90s, I believe, or early 90s when that came out. And Bandai just stopped producing that kit. They just took it off production schedule entirely, because it got replaced by the high-grade Universal Century line. It got superseded by better kits, so they just stopped producing it. Which, you know, it kind of makes sense. Okay, you got a much better version, just stop producing that really old version now. So why not? So why haven't they done that again since? But then again, maybe they have done that. Maybe they have, and they just don't tell anybody. Like, there are certain kits that, for some reason, are like way harder to find than others, I have noticed. And there's no good explanation as to why. Okay, so Master Grade Age kits. For whatever reason, they are become extremely hard to find for like the past 3 years. They have been dwindling in supply to the point where they're just kind of gone now entirely. It's like Bandai has not produced anymore, especially of the H1, which I've been looking for a long time now. I can't find one anywhere. Just can't find those things anymore. And then there's also the Master Grade V-Dash Gundam. Which I gotta be honest, sometimes I kind of wonder if that kit actually exists or not. But apparently it did at one point. It was the Master Grade V Gundam with the actual V-Dash equipment, which normally only comes with the Core Fighter set. But that was actually 2 separate kits. Was the Master Grade V Gundam, and then there was the extra Core Fighter set with the V-Dash equipment in it. But there was one kit that just had them together in both. That kit, I have never seen that kit in stock anywhere. It's like harder to find than a P Bandai kit. And it's weird because that was supposed to be a regular production kit. But it just doesn't seem to exist. It's the damnedest thing. Yeah. I just don't understand Bandai's logic behind their production decisions. Why this kit has to be produced, but not this kit. We can keep this kit on regular rotation, but not really. Let's keep producing these old kits that are kind of crap now, instead of producing more of the newer kits that people might actually want to buy. But no, let's just make everything P Bandai, and that'll fix all our problems, right? Yeah. That is my rant for today. Perhaps there will be more ranting at some point. Quick, nobody's watching. Let me talk about video games. No. Final Fantasy Tactics will resume next week. I'm gonna start Chapter 3 of that. But I figured I'd stop at the end of Chapter 2 and just, we'll leave Chapter 3 to next week. That's what I decided to do. So I'm still kind of deciding what to do after Tactics. My choices are to go ahead and start doing Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which I kind of want to check out. But I'm also thinking I should just go ahead and do Xenosaga Episode 3 and just get that done out of the way. Because I don't know how long Xenoblade 2 is going to take. I imagine it's going to take a while to get through it. I may enjoy it, or I may find it very painful. I don't know. I didn't find Torna was enjoyable to me, but I will acknowledge there are still some flaws with that game. Especially now that I've kind of taken a few days to kind of step away from it. So I know I made mention about the weird lip syncing issue they have in that game. It's like the programmers didn't put any effort into even bothering to try to do any lip syncing in that game. It's like anytime there's a text box on a character, they just automatically do that without any rhyme or reason. And that's just lazy programming. Which I find weird because, again, because I've not really known Monosoft to be lazy with their programming, even back with Xenosaga. So I don't know why they got so lazy with certain things, and I don't know if it is that way in the main Xenoblade Chronicles game. I did hear from somebody that the weird fuzziness around the characters in the cutscenes, that is something that apparently only happens in Torna, but not in the main Xenoblade Chronicles 2 game. So I don't know what they did different in Torna to make that happen, but visually it just doesn't look very good. It just doesn't. So yeah, I'm using just the bog standard pins here. I'm not doing the ink pins. Actually, you know what I could at least do is the little marker things. Probably should do that at least. It doesn't take much effort to do this. And I need Q-tips. Okay. For anybody new to watching, I don't really go through the whole process of sanding and smoothing out the nubs when I'm doing a straight build. I only do that if I'm going to be painting a kit, which is a pretty rare. It's a pretty rare thing for me to do these days. Mainly because paint costs money and time. Also, my capability to do full painting on a kit is very limited. Meaning I have to actually go outdoors to paint. And depending on the weather and the wind, that may not always be possible for me to do. So I usually don't. Whatever I do is, for the most part, has got to be indoors. And no, I do not have an airbrush setup. I do have an old airbrush, but I don't use it for anything. Because I don't have a setup to actually use that indoors. Yeah, that's probably fine. Pretty much this, what I'm doing here, for anybody wondering if they've never seen me build Gunpla before, I use these markers here, these touch marker, real touch markers, to hide the nubs. They work. They do an okay job. They mostly just stain the plastic so that the nub is a little bit less noticeable. Find a good example here, like right here. Like the little white spot right there. You can probably still see it. It's a little bit less noticeable now, but that's all I'm doing. If any of this shows up on the exterior of the kit, it'll be a little bit less noticeable. Also, I can also feel when my knife is not trimmed something down perfectly here. Yeah, okay. Okay, is there everything I need for this? Put these aside. Okay. This is a very dark colored kit. So probably be using the black for the most part on this. You know. Now I did notice the thruster bells, for instance, this right here. I can probably show you. Maybe not this here. You look at the back side of the Gustav Karl. You look on the back, the inside of the thruster bell should actually be painted white. Unfortunately, I don't really have a way to paint white. White is a very difficult paint to work with as a color, so even if I had white paint, I probably would be hesitant to actually do anything about that. So I'm probably just going to leave it alone and let it be. Just, you know. Let me see if the gray looks okay on this, or if I want to use the black. It might be okay with the gray, because the gray is pretty dark. Yeah, I think the gray pin is fine. A little bit there, a little bit there. We're doing this the easy way. Is the pin. See? Channel 9. Hold on a second, how does this... Okay. Let's see. Now this is the back, and this is supposed to go right there, like that. I just want to see like what part of this would actually be showing. I needed to make any adjustments. Actually, okay, alright, that's fine. That's not going to be visible area, so I'm just going to... So when this goes on the back, it's going to be like that. Okay. Just checking. This is why I need a camera with a zoom lens on it. It's always troublesome when we're trying to like Google search for a webcam with a zoom lens on it, because Google thinks you're looking for a webcam with zoom capability, like Zoom the app, not an actual zoom lens. Thanks, Google. You waste so much of my time trying to find something specific, and then you're like, oh wait, are you looking for this thing? No, it's not what I'm looking for. Same problem on Amazon when I'm trying to find a webcam with a zoom lens. They think I'm talking about the Zoom app. Like, no. Every webcam will work with Zoom app, but there's nothing specific about that for a webcam. It's just a camera. That's all Zoom requires. The app. Parts. Give me my thing. I'm getting into tight spots. Tight spots you can't get to with the Q-tip. Well, these little vents, I don't. I'm very particular about how I do these. Like that. This is where I need this thing. Sure. I'm almost thinking that would probably look better with black in there than the gray. The gray doesn't work. But these pins are also kind of a little too thick also. See, this would have been a good thing to use the ink pen on, the flow pen. This doesn't look right. See, honestly, looks a little better like an actual proper vent. Just a little bit. Okay. Alright, we'll just go with that. But of course now that I've actually used the gray on one of them, I gotta use the gray again on the other one just so the look matches up. Because now it looks like it's been weathered a little bit. So we'll do it on the other one. So that the looks will match. It'd be nice if my pen actually would work. Of course, it was like good for like one thing, and then it dries out. Of course that's what would happen. Oh, you wanted ink for the other one, right? Yeah, well, no, you don't. Yeah, that's what happens when you don't use me for over a year. I just die. I just up and die. Alright, that's probably close enough. Smudge right there. Yeah, it's relatively good. Yeah. Okay, that works. Alright, these I'm probably going to use black on because it's a dark blue piece. Dun, 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 dun. It sounds like magical girl music almost. I don't know what I'm saying. It does sound like some kind of video game music. I just can't. But like I've heard this sort of thing in other games before. I just don't really. I wouldn't be able to tell you which one. It almost sounds a little bit like something from Breath of the Wild. I think there are a couple of tunes like this in Breath of the Wild. Maybe it is Breath of the Wild music. I doubt it is. So I don't. It isn't. I know it cannot be. It cannot be. Considering how slow I am at building, this is probably going to end up being like a multi-part stream. Which is fine. We might continue this next week. I don't like my streams being over like 2 hours. So you're already at the 1 hour mark and I still haven't finished the torso yet. Because that's the speed I go at, baby. I'm so fast. If I didn't care about panel lining, I probably would have been done with this already. But because I do my panel lining, it's just going to take longer. Oh, this thing has a... Oh yeah, there is a double line right there. No, I don't see it. Right there, on the edge. I don't know, there's supposed to be like a technical term for having a panel line like right on the edge of a part like that. Dividing line. They call it a dividing line maybe on the part. You know, it's just the type of panel line you really don't notice until you have the kit together. And then you're like, oh wait, there's a panel line right there. Why didn't I see that before? Because they tried to hide it from you. Get that. Like, I don't mind using this thing, but the problem is it does kind of leave a bit of a residue behind sometimes. Come back here. Get off the floor. This thing, paper stumps, is that what they're called? It's been a long time since I've been in an art store. I got that from an arts and crafts store a long time ago. Okay, then we have these parts. All of these dark gray parts are stuff on the inside and outside of the kit that may or may not be important or visible, but I'm gonna do them anyway. I know these are the arm joints. Is there really anything on here that's gonna be noticeable, or just not really? Oh, this thing, yeah. Okay, there's stuff on here. Should probably do that. Zoom. Zoom. And this is part of the neck assembly. And that's it. Okay. Thruster bells. I'm probably just going to do my usual thing of putting a little bit of silver inside of them. And leave it at that, because that usually looks nice if I just do it that way. Alright. Let's leave those aside for now. Okay, I guess that's it for panel lining. Let's actually put something together here. That needs to go. Oh, they're showing it backwards in the image. That's probably what didn't look right. so there's your shoulder joint thing. I just want to see like how stiff this is. Just this. Yeah, I mean, I understand I need to be like strong to an extent because this is because this thing slides out, and this is where the actual arm plugs into. Is this little thing right here? And this is supposed to raise the arm up or shoulder up. It is a bit of a stiff joint. And here's a problem people have is mostly with this bit right here. That's a very thin little peg to have a big arm attached to. Because the whole arm is basically hanging off of this little piece right here. So I can see why it ends up being loose. Because there is no polycap there. So that's gonna go. That goes. Hooks into these little slots right here. Yeah. You know, it's kind of hard to see. Because my camera wants to be overly contrasty right now. Just put it in. Okay. Your neck. Okay. So I'm assuming the way the shoulder joint works, this has to come out. That slides out, and it kind of bends forward like that. Except, well, yeah, as you can see, that is a little bit on the loose side. I'm not sure what you could actually do to actually fix that. Because I worry if you were to use like paint, like some people do to like thicken up a joint on this really tiny peg part right here, it might make it stick. And then if you try to pull it out too hard one time, it's just going to rip the peg right off. Because that is a risk that can happen. Because remember, because paint in a tight spot like that is going to act like a glue sometimes. So, I don't know. Probably not the best designed shoulder joint. Yeah, but I can see how that would be loose. Alright. Anyway, that goes in there. And this goes on the back. And I can see there are panel lines I missed already. Running along this edge here I missed. I didn't have to get those. Unless you get the panel lines. Otherwise I will be incomplete. I will feel incomplete. And my music has stopped. So we need to find something else here. Okay. I need to put the these on. There. And then this piece. Go, well, it has to go this way. Only one way it goes on. And that's gonna go in there. Well, it's not loose, but maybe it's this hole that it falls out of. Alright. Backpack. We'll do a tight fit. Or that's what I call a tight fit. So let me go ahead and stick this on. Put in. This just goes on only one way. That way. Oh. No, that was incorrect. This is the one that goes in the middle. These have a slight angle at them. This one goes on this side. This one goes on the other side. You get that. Alright, so we're initially do a little bit of silver on the inside edge of the thruster bevel. It just makes it pop. It makes it pop better. Make sure my marker actually works. I haven't used this in a while. Like so many other things. Just you haven't touched any of this stuff in like almost a, well, 4 or 5 months. Let me put it that way. I mean, it hasn't been that long. Alright, see? Like that. It just makes the thrusters pop. It's a nice little detail I like to do. Also, I might paint this cap in right there. Just because I can. Let's paint that little cap in on the side. Alright, and there's your torso of the Mr. Karl. We call him Karl. Mr. Karl. Alright, I want to do one of these arms. Okay, we'll put that aside for a moment. Alright, let's get an arm. Or I could do the head. Actually, you know what? No. Let me do the shoulders. I'm gonna do the shoulders instead. So we need, I know we need these. Because I want to see how the shoulders attach to the arm, to the shoulder joint. Yeah, I don't need anything else off of that. Okay. Now this does use a polycap. There is a polycap in here. For this. I don't know where the other thing is. There it is. You cannot put this in. You don't have stuff there. Can't do that. So I need B plate, B1 and B2, 10 and 11. And C1, 2 and 3. I just remembered something quite amusing. Gunpla related, actually. You always know when you lose a part. It's like, oh, I'm handling a part, and it's like, whoops, it goes flying away or something like that. I remember I had the most unfortunate incident of that Probably a couple weeks ago, just before I did my review for the F90. An eagle-eyed viewer on my review might be able to find out that I was missing one of the actual fixed pose hand pieces during my review. I actually noticed it when I was filming, but I didn't say anything because I assumed it was just on the floor somewhere. So I didn't stop to go take a look. After a review, when I was cleaning up, I was like, I remember, oh wait, that piece is missing. So I went looking for it, and I couldn't find it. So I just kind of chalked it up to really bad luck, and it just kind of disappeared, and yeah. But the next day, I stepped on it, and it's like, oh, it's right there. So it was like I found it. I was sitting in my chair, just kind of checking over, make sure I didn't actually damage it. And then, you know, as I'm kind of looking at it, it just kind of like that out of my hands. And of all the places it would go, it fell into the seat of my chair. It rolled back into the brace that holds the back of my chair up, and then it bounced off the brace into the joint underneath my chair. And there's a little enclosure that this shell that encloses the bottom of my chair. It went into the one gap right there where the joint is and went into the shell. Of all the places for a little fallen part to end up in, it goes into one spot to go inside of the bottom of my chair. And I had to flip my chair upside down and try to get the plastic shell off the bottom of it, which I actually wasn't able to do, because I can't get it off because of the piston is wedged into the bottom, so I can't take it off. I couldn't get the piston out of the bottom of the chair because it's just stuck in there. But I unscrewed a bit of it and was able to kind of pry it open a little bit and then try to wriggle and shake the thing out, and eventually I got the piece out. But in all the years I have built Gunpla, I have never had that happen before. Usually a part will end up on the floor. It won't end up in some place that's like near impossible to get to. That was almost impossible to get to. So, sometimes stuff like that just happens. But, you know, I was just thinking about that as I'm working on parts, just on the off chance that happens again. But really, what are the odds of that happening again? Of one part ending up in the exact spot where there's one gap behind my chair. Anyway, that's not going to happen again. Quick, nobody's watching. Let's talk about video games again. You know, I would like to do some Gundam video games on my stream at some point. The problem is that most Gundam games aren't that good. So I don't really feel inclined to stream them. I do have some of the PS2 Gundam games. I have During the Jawborough, I have Encounters in Space, I have the Gundam vs. Gundam, and the Gundam vs. Zeta Gundam game. I also have Zionic Front. Out of those games, the one I'll most likely do a stream of is maybe Zeonic Front. But even still, Zeonic Front is still a pretty damn hard game to get into. I've tried to replay it a few times over the years, and I got lost really quick in that game. For anybody who's wondering, Zeonic Front. It's very much like our old school Rainbow Six game. If you know what I'm talking about, it's not just run around, shoot, shoot, shoot. It's not that kind of game. It's more like you have to plan ahead of time where you want your units to go, and you have to make little paths for them to take and markers for them to follow, so they go when you want them to go and do this and that at this location, and you have little teams you have to set up and coordinate with. Generally, as a player, you control one unit, and you can go, but you have to kind of send commands to the other units to either flank opponents or go over here and distract them or do things like that. It's a very tactical game. It has a very steep learning curve. The first couple of missions aren't too bad, but once you get to like the third or fourth mission, the difficulty starts to kind of ramp up pretty quick in the game. And at that point, it can be kind of frustrating. I seem to remember at the point when the game starts to get really tough is I think it's the mission to take the California base from the Federation. Zeonic Front actually covers the early part of the One-Year War, by the way. It doesn't really cover the end. So it covers the part where Zeon invades Earth, so there's a mission where you play as the Thinner Knight Corps, I think is what they're called. You play as sort of like the first few missions of the game involve the Zeon invasion of Earth. You kind of follow that along. You have a little squad of Zaku's. You just do your thing. The first real tough mission is the one where you have to take the California base. Because that's the mission you can kind of beans up pretty easily. You have to kind of take a really roundabout way through the back of the base. Try not to get spotted by the artillery in the base. But if the artillery spots you, you're just going to get blasted. You can't just walk up to the artillery in this game, because artillery will actually destroy you. Because remember, you're piloting a Zaku, not a Gundam. Zakus have like steel armor. They're slow. If they get hit by a ship's artillery cannon, they're probably going to take some severe damage, and you're going to go down pretty quick. So in that aspect, I do kind of like the game, because it does try to be a bit more realistic with the way combat might actually be if you're using a big, bulking, slow-moving machine. You have to be more tactical with your battle decisions rather than just go guns blazing into a fight. The guns blazing will pretty much get you killed in Zeonic Front very, 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 very quickly. Because that's not how you're supposed to play the game. You're supposed to outsmart your opponents, not overpower them. In that aspect, I do like the game, in that aspect, but I will still heartily admit it is a very difficult game, with a steep learning curve. Anybody who has actually played the game before, you'll probably know about the one mission. The one mission that is probably the best example of just how afraid Zeon soldiers were of the White Devil, the Gundam. That one mission. There's one mission in Zeonic Front where you have to spy on the White base. You spy on them. You don't fight them, you spy on them. just to gather information. It's not the most difficult mission, but it is very easy to screw up. And what happens a lot of times when you're playing that mission is Amuro will usually catch you, and he will one-shot your entire team in a matter of seconds, because he is that off. And you do not really stand a chance in trying to fight him with your dinky old Zakus. So the whole objective of the mission, from what I recall, is you have to get information, intelligence information on the Gundam, the gun tank, and the gun cannon. And just find out where the white base is hiding. That's it. And then you just need to get the hell out of Dodge before they find you. That's the entire mission. Now you can set up little traps and distraction things that kind of distract Amuro and Kai and the others so they can't really find you. That's really the way you're supposed to play that mission. Just distract them, get them in your sights, and gather your intel, and then move on without being found. So you have to be very sneaky. But it can be pretty difficult. For the sheer fact that Amuro is a new type, and for some reason sometimes he will know exactly where you are, regardless of what you do. And then he will come charging at you, and there ain't a whole lot you can do. Except get killed. Because you will hear him as he starts killing off the rest of your team. He'll start counting down. 1, 2, 3... before he eventually gets to you. And that is the mission in which you learn why Zeon soldiers are so frickin' afraid of the Gundam. Because of that. Okay. Let's see, we want these two. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I'm ever going to stream that game. It would be hard for me to devote the time to learn it and get good at it again. I did play through the entire game in my youth when I was a lot younger when the game came out. I was able to devote the time to it and actually get through it. And by the time you get to the end, the game actually does get easier. It's one of those games that's, weirdly enough, it starts out kind of easy, then it gets really, really hard and stays hard for a while. And then as you get near the end, it actually gets easier again. The easier difficulty starts to come in play when you get beam rifles and domes. So now you can move fast and you can use your beam rifle to one-shot the enemy. Then it's like, the tables have turned, now I am the power. It's very satisfying when you actually get to that point of the game. But it takes a long time to get there. In the meantime, you have to put up with your Zinky Zaku machine guns. And your plodding little Zaku going... all over the place. Making a hell of a racket when you're walking around. Which is a bit of... which is a bit of a... what's the word I'm looking for? It'll come to me in a moment. Ironic, considering you're in a giant machine trying to be sneaky. That makes a hell of a lot of noise when it walks around. I don't know how it's supposed to be sneaky that way, but... that's what the game is about that. So, the other games I have that I mentioned, I don't think I would ever really stream those. Journey to Jaburo and Encounters in Space are kind of... they're supposed to be two parts of the same whole, I guess, but they play very differently. Journey to Jaburo covers First Gundam, I think up through... yeah, up to a point where the white base gets to Jaburo base. And Encounters in Space is supposed to kind of pick up after that. And then you do all the space stuff. They're both okay games. I know a lot of people seem to really like Encounters in Space. I've tried to play it several times, and I just can't get very far into it. Maybe because I got into the game late. So I wasn't really able to devote a lot of time to getting good at it. So it just kind of sits in my game cabinet now, just forever unfinished. I can't even find like any like good cheat codes for the game either. If I just want to like mess around with it, like I can't even find any good like cheat codes for it. Just to, if I just want to progress in it and just see what else there is in the game. I nope, can't find anything. Alright, that's it for that. So these things will have to be painted black on the inside. Don't believe there is going to be any way around that. Let's see what I can do. Let's do something like this. Get rid of that. Look. Yeah. This is where you gotta concentrate. Yeah, I'm still gonna have to clean it up anyway. Well, I thought I'd be able to get away with it by cheating a little bit, but that didn't work. Still gotta do a little bit of cleanup. Dark and moody music. And do you feel the mood? This is me doing cleanup. Just kind of scraping the paint away from where it wasn't supposed to be. Yeah, okay, that was alright. It's passable. Alright. So we're going to start with goes like that. And that just goes there. I don't know why. I guess I expected there would be more there, more to this, but there really isn't. It's just a poly cap in there. I was like, huh, okay, that's simpler than I thought it would be. And then again, it is just a high grade kit, so I guess I really can't expect it to be too much. I'm just making sure it's on there correctly because there is like a little tab right there. But I don't want this stuck on. I'm just making sure it wasn't supposed to be wrapped around that. But no, it has to be movable, I believe. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that just acts as a stop. That's all that is. Okay. Alright. Shoulders. Chest. Alright. Let's see what this is like here. Okay. So it actually isn't this piece that's too stiff, it's actually this. Because there's a joint right there. And there's a joint that has to be in here. That you can't really pull out. Hold on. This is supposed to work its way out, but I can see that it just kind of comes out instead, and this needs to come. I feel like how far could this actually go? In theory. In theory, it could go all the way like that. If the joint didn't come apart. In theory, it could bend that far. But you're probably not going to be able to get it to do like that. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Anyway. There's a Gustav Karl. It's like this. My name is Karl. And I'm a work in progress. I have a little bit of time, so why don't we do... Why don't we go ahead and do the head? And then I'll finish up for... And then that'll be it for tonight. Give me a head. Where is my head? The head pieces are here. Okay, this is something that I do actually want to look at here. Junkie. Visor. So no head parts right there. Nice thing is, but I already know where all the head parts are. There's all your parts of the head. Clean these up. So what's interesting here is that you're going to have a clear pink visor and there's going to be red behind the visor. I kind of want to see how that looks. If I want to make any changes to that to make it look better. But I just feel like it might end up looking like a little too dark. I did nick the V-fin slightly at the wrong angle. It's okay. Only mystery of Mr. Karl. He's a mysterious man. He's very big, but carries a tiny gun. You better watch out, or Mr. Karl will come get you when you least expect it. Okay. That's it for that. Alright. Alright, so this is where the visor would go. We'll go on top of that red, which makes it look red. Which I don't know about. I'm just wondering if I can do better than that. Like, how does that look inside the actual part? I don't know. It does make the whole thing a little dark. I think I'll probably keep the head camera sensor. I don't know if I can I'm gonna try something. As rare incense, I will use the white here. Probably not in the way you're expecting me to use it. Provided I can actually get some paint out of this thing. I hate using this thing. This white paint marker is like awful. So you know what? Need it on here. Need my clip on here. Alright. So if I do this right, I can probably just fill in these slots. Yeah, just like that. So, yeah, something like that. I gotta let it dry for a little bit, and then I'm gonna clean it up. And maybe that'll give me a little bit more detail behind the visor of this thing. So I'll just let that dry for a moment over here. Maybe try and not have it lean into one side. Okay, so I'll work on these in the meantime. I'd probably do my thing first before I do anything else. Should probably do that. Actually, that nub is still there. Goes that way, this goes like that. Okay, I see. Alright. Okay, I see how it is. You have this funny looking faceplate on this thing. So I'm gonna figure it out. It's funny, because it doesn't make any sense. Oh, that was the wrong thing. That needs to go back on here. There. So I will have to use the sticker for the back camera eye, which is right there. But the one on the front, I'm actually going to leave it unstickered. And the other thing is the tip on this fin. I don't quite want to call it a V-fin because it's technically not a V-fin. It is a fin. Because the other side is just a stub. So you can't really call it a V-fin because it's not a V. It is a fin. It is a fin. And it's going to go through there. Is there any way I can make that look better? Possibly. Maybe I can get it back off. Come on. Get off. Come off there. In this case, I will use the black on the vents here. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, let's look at this. It's probably dry now. So that's where we got. And there. And that might look better. Or we'll at least be able to see like the eye in there a little better. I still think it's kind of weird if they decided to go with red to go behind the visor, but maybe that'll work out. Maybe. I don't know. We'll give it a go. We'll try it that way. Before I finalize this, I do want to put silver behind this lens here. We want to do, like I said, I'd want to do the little sticker for this here. Because I don't have a way to do like pink chrome on anything. So in this case, I will have to do the sticker. I don't have my toothpick handy right now. Get that in there. What is your head? Kind of hard to see the detail in there, but at least you can see like where the main eye camera is. Now, this little bit on the end of the antenna, they do give you a sticker for that, which the only thing I'm really not a big fan of. I wish I could paint this, but I don't have any like blue paint. So I guess it's just gonna have to make do and see how well this actually goes on here. Usually they make it so that it will fold around. And sure, I guess that I guess that kind of works. It still looks like there's a sticker there. Yeah, what I wouldn't give if I actually had some blue paint I could use. But I don't. I don't have any blue paint. By the way, the head Vulcans are like right here. They're on one side of the head. The other side does not have head Vulcans. Just in case you were wondering. There's Mr. Karl. Years coming together. My name is Karl. Gustav Karl. Well. Alrighty, that's going to be it for tonight. I will continue this some other time, maybe next week. Yeah, it'll definitely be next week when I continue this. Alright, so anyway, let me stop this. Yep. Mr. Karl Gustav. He is a big boy. Alright. Alright. That's going to be it for tonight. And thanks for watching if you were watching some parts of this. And I will continue this next week. Along with Final Fantasy Tactics. More of that next week. Anyway. Have a good night. Bye-bye.